Right, we are in the last lesson of the year, so go ahead and take this time to write down your learning target. I can calculate and graph rotations of points and triangles on a coordinate plane. Now the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to look at these notes right here and create a cheat sheet for myself. So here it's just a quick reminder of what it means, what clockwise means. So clockwise we're going this way, and counterclockwise we're going this way. Okay, so for my cheat sheet I'm going to go ahead and for clockwise I'm going to go ahead and put a 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. Okay, and then I'm going to go look at the bottom over here, and it tells me what I need to be doing with each of these scenarios. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. We can read all of it. Okay, so for 90 degrees, it says switch the x and y value. So I'm going to go ahead and switch. I'm going to put my y first, and then I'm going to put my x. And then it says, and change the appropriate signs. Well, what's the appropriate sign? So I'm going this direction, so from here to here. Well, this shows me that if I go from here to here, the second term should be negative. There. All right, 180 degrees. It says don't switch x and y, so I'm going to put an x, then I'm going to put a y, and then it says, but still change as appropriate. So let's see, if I'm going clockwise, and I'm going 180 degrees, so I'm going, this is 90, this is 180. So first term and second term are both negative. All right, now 270 degrees. It says switch x and y, so I'm going to put y, then I'm going to put x. And then and change as appropriate. So I'm going I'm going clockwise again this way. So I go from here, this is 90, 180, 270. So my first sign is negative. So now that I have this cheat sheet, I can apply it all the time. I don't have to like go back and think about, oh, how is this going to change my signs? No, I'm going to use this cheat sheet on all of my problems. And I'm going to do the same thing here. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. 90 degrees, it says switch x and y. Oops. Switch x and y. So we're going to do y, then x. And change the signs. So which sign are we changing? We are going counterclockwise, so that's this way. And 90 degrees goes from one quadrant to the next. So the first sign changes. So this one becomes negative. 180 degrees. It says do not switch x and y. So we still have x, comma, y. And 180 degrees would be going from this to this. From this to this. We're switching two quadrants. So this becomes negative x, negative y. And then 270 degrees, I'm going 90, 180, 270 right here. So the second term should be negative. And it says switch x and y. So I'm going to make y, then x. Now that I have my cheat sheet, I'm going to go ahead and transfer all of that on a chart right here, so I have it available for my practice and the rest of my notes. So I'm going to create a clockwise chart and a counterclockwise chart, and 90, 180, 270, and I'm just going to put down what I wrote here. So you just have y, comma, negative x, right? And I'm going to go ahead and write all of it down onto my cheat sheet so I have it available. So your new cheat sheet should look like this, right? I just copied down all of those rules that we just wrote. So we have it available in front of us. We don't have to keep flipping back and forth. Okay? So now let's go ahead and flip to the next page and apply this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm like up here, I'm going to write down my rules. So rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I look at my chart, counterclockwise 90 degrees, and that says that I should have negative yx. Negative yx. And I'm going to skip this part, and we are just going to go ahead and write our new coordinates. So I'm going to look at my y was 5, and I'm going to put that first, and I'm going to do a negative. So negative 5, and my new my x term goes next, so that's 1. So this is my new y term for my A prime. Okay, so B prime, negative yx, so negative y would be negative 1, and then our x term, 4. So this is our new point for B prime. And C prime, I have negative yx, so our y is 1, so I get negative 1, and x was 2, so I put my 2 next. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and plot these. So negative 5 is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, negative 5 and 1. So this is my A prime. B prime is negative 1, 4. So negative 1 and 4, 1. So B prime. And then C prime is negative 1, 2. So negative 1 and 2. C prime. And go ahead and connect your dots. Let me grab a straight edge. So I didn't line it up exactly, but either way. So basically your basic triangle shape didn't change, but what we ended up doing is we rotated it. So logic tells me if I'm taking this and it's in this quadrant and I'm going 90 degrees counterclockwise, it's going to end up here, and it's rotating, so it flipped this way, right? So we'll do the same thing for the next one. So rotation counterclockwise of 180 degrees. So I look at my cheat sheet, counterclockwise 180 degrees. It says I'm going to have a negative x and a negative y. And I'm going to not do that part. So negative x, negative y. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the same points. I'm just going to make them both negative. So negative 1, negative 5. B prime will be negative 4 and negative 1. And C prime will be negative 2 and negative 1. Very simple, right? I know you guys will get this just fine. I'm so happy that you guys have your final exam on something so easy. All right, so now we just plot our new points. So negative 1 for x and negative 5 for y. Should be right here. That's our A prime. Negative 4 for x and negative 1 for y. This is B prime. And negative 2 for x and negative 1 for y. So C prime. I'm going to connect my dots. And as we see, the basic shape of the triangle did not change. We just rotated it, right? So we rotated it 180 degrees. This would be 90 degrees, and here's 180 degrees. Moving right along. Next example. Rotating 270 It's 270 degrees counterclockwise. So 270 degrees, I should end up right here, because this would be 90, 180, 270. So if I do it right, I know I need to end up right there. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is write down my rule. Look at here, counterclockwise, 270, y negative x. Y negative x. Cross this part out. So my a prime, y first, so y was 5. And then I'm going to put my x and put a negative in front of it, so negative 1. B prime, I'm going to put my y first, so 1. And then I'm going to put my x, 4. And then I'm going to put a negative in front of that x. All right, C prime, y first, so my y was 1. Then I'm going to put my x, and I said negative in front of the x. Now we just got to graph them. So 5, negative 1. So this is my a prime. 1, negative 4, so 1, negative 4 should be right here. That's my b prime. And 1, negative 2, right here, is my c prime. Connect the dots. So simple, right? And just as we predicted in the beginning, if I go 270 degrees, I end up in this coordinate plane, I end up in this quadrant right here. And this got rotated right here. If we rotated it another 90 degrees, we'd be right back where we started. Okay. Last one. Well, if you're in regs. If you're advanced, you have another one after this. But last problem. I take my cheat sheet, and we are going clockwise 90 degrees. Clockwise 90 degrees was y negative x. I'm going to go ahead and cross out this because our notes are long enough as is. We don't need more practice. All right, and then I'm going to put my y term first. So a prime has my y was 5, so 5, and then I'm going to make my x term negative, so negative 1. B prime, I'm going to put my y term first, so y was 1, and then I'm going to do a negative x. And C prime, I'm going to put my y first, which was 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a negative x. Now I just got to graph this. So 5, negative 1. Let me go ahead and use logic to see whether I know where it's supposed to end up. So if I'm going clockwise, let's see, I'm imagining a clock. Clockwise is this way. So clockwise 90 degrees, I should end up here. Okay, so far so good. We're ending up right there for A prime. B prime, 1, negative 4. And C prime, 1, negative 2. Connect the dots. Wait a second. This looks the same as this, doesn't it? Well, that's because it is the same. a rotation 90 degrees clockwise is the same as a rotation 270 degrees counterclockwise. They're the same. So it's no surprise that they look the same, because they should be. All right, if you're in regular geometry, you're done. If you're in advanced geometry, we have one more example. Rotate a point A 30 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. So now we're not doing simple 90-degree rotations or 270 degrees or 180 degree. We're doing a number that's different from that. So we have to do a little bit of math to do that. So all I'm going to do is plug these things in where they go into this formula. So my x prime is going to equal my original x, which was 3. So 3 cosine my angle, cosine 30, my minus, oops, not a comma, minus my original y, which was 7, sine my angle, sine 30. My y prime is going to equal my original x, so 3, sine of the angle, sine 30, minus, nope, plus, sorry about that, so plus my original y, 7, cosine of the angle. So now all I have to do is take this and plug it into my calculator. So into my calculator, I should put everything the way it's listed there. So 3 trig cosine 30 minus 7 trig sine 30. So in your calculator, you should have this equation right there. Enter. My number I end up with is negative 0.9. Okay? And then do the next one. So 3 trig sine 30. Move it over. Plus 7 trig cosine 30. Make sure you guys have it exactly like that. And you get 7.5. 6, so 7.6, 7.56, so 7.6. All right, now I want to go ahead and check the math by graphing the original points and the new points, okay? So I have 3, 7 original points, so 3, 7, that's A. And then A prime, we said we have negative 0.9, so it's almost negative 1, and 7.6. So negative 1 and 7.6, we should end up right around here. Oh, actually 7.6 should be closer to the middle of that, so right around here. I'm going to go ahead and connect those to the origin, and you'll see why in just a minute. And that's up here is my A prime. So this says it's a 30-degree rotation counterclockwise. I'm going to go ahead and put my protractor on this point and see what a 30-degree rotation should look like for this point. So 30-degree rotation for this point, we should end up right there. Did we end up there? Yes, we did. We did everything correct. So you don't have to check with your protractor on all the other ones that you do. You just have to plug it into your formula and put it in your calculator and do the math. It's pretty simple. It's just, do you know how to apply a formula or not? Very easy. Aren't you happy that you're ending the year with something so simple?